actually transmit it on your TV.
Thank you. Good evening, viewers. My name is Wekesa Eric. With me in studio is my guest, Dr. David Matsanga. He's a political analyst, and he has been a frequent guest on this channel. He tells politics as it is. Today, we want him to help us converse through issues that have happened recently, the current political affairs. First, we will begin with the NDC that was there for the Kenya Kwanza Alliance, but focusing on the UDA, which they were unveiling their candidate at Kasarani. So briefly, for those who may be joining this channel for the first time, he will introduce himself briefly and then delve into the topic of the day. We will have many questions that you may ask around the same, and also part two, we will ask him to give his own introspection and analysis of Baba's trip to UK. We saw him having a speech at the same venue the deputy president had. So he will give us his perspective on the same. So you are invited to follow us through the comment section. At the tail end, we may have one or two people to come live and ask questions. Thank you. So Dr. Matsanga, the floor is yours. Make your introductory remarks and then delve into the topic.
Thank you. Thank you very much, viewers across the continent of Africa and in the universe, wherever you are in America and Europe. Thank you very much, Mutembei TV, for inviting me for the second time. I am Dr. David Nyokorati Matsanga, born in Uganda in the 1950s, lived, studied in Uganda, as I've told you, left Uganda in 1978 after finishing my East African Certificate of Education in 1974, O-levels and A-levels. We are the last people who did the East African Certificate of Education. My certificate is not Uganda Certificate of Education or like Wekesa's Kenya Certificate of Education. Mine is the East African Certificate of Education. We are the last beneficiaries of the East African Community. Tanzania, 1978, came back 1980 in Uganda. We took part in elections that were rigged, that claimed by President Museveni currently, which I believe now I can say, yes, some of the parts were rigged. I'm always honest. 1985, I worked under Dr. Milton Obote. 1985, 27th July, Saturday, 10 o'clock, we were overthrown in a military coup by our own generals, General Tito Okello, Basilio Okello, and others. We came to Kenya. We proceeded to different parts of the world. Some of us went to London up to today. I have studied political science as my subject in the London Guildhall and Metropolitan University in Canterbury. I studied political international relations, added on with conflict resolution as an expert. I'm a married man with 80 children grown up. The last born is 23. If there is any other question, I can take it.
Yeah, thank you for that brief introduction. So we
I am a married man with 80 children. The last born is 23. So you can see the first born is 43. Now you can wait there. And that's all.
Yeah, thank you. I will come back to that in the question section. Let's have your first take on the optics. What did you see at Kasarani, the UDA National Delegates Conference?
First of all, it's good you have called it DA National Delegates Conference, not Kenya Kwanza. The difference between Kenya DA Delegates Conference and Azimio la Umoja Conference, Delegates Conference, is that Azimio la Umoja has a final destiny of a coalition that will be delivered at the register of political parties. The National Delegates Conference chose a candidate of one party. Therefore, I don't know why they are calling it Kenya Kwanza. It doesn't, there are no papers to show. So it is a fake thing, as they have been fake, like Itumbi and others. So they are all fake. I call it a spade a spade. They are faked. You can see there is no Kenya Kwanza document. I haven't seen it. Have you seen it, Wekesa? Do you have a document saying Kenya Kwanza? Where is it? We see Mudavadi Wetangula, and we see Ruto and other people, surrogates coming up. We are joining UDA. We are joining and then the worst is that Ruto is going back to recruit people like the Trans Nzoia governor, my Luya Mugisu friend of mine, Uhaemba, and is brought into NDC of UDA. So there is no Kenya Kwanza. Let's not lie to people that this was Kenya Kwanza Delegates Conference. No, it's far from it. It's National Delegates Conference of United Democratic Party, Yellow Party of George Soros' Yellow Ribbon. That is actually going around Africa. You see yellow ribbon in Zimbabwe. On Chamisa, you see a yellow ribbon elsewhere across in my own country. You see a yellow ribbon here. So it's okay. That is United Democratic Party, National Delegates Conference, not Kenya Kwanza. So I see the first step is fakeness. They are faked. The Kenya Kwanza fake because there are no documents. They haven't agreed. They have just done like they did a village gathering with every elder from every sort of Umofia clan topping in with his attire to show support for the Okonko return. If you have read the book, The Things Fall Apart. You remember on page 54 when Okonko returned from exile, having been banished. Obierika told Okonko that perhaps you have been away for too long, that the white man has put a knife on the things that held us together. Page 53 up to 54. You can find that book very exciting. That there is a bicycle that drinks milk, meaning the bicycle that had oil. You see, when you mix oil with milk, with water, you will find a white substance coming out of the chain. So perhaps that is it. These are villagers, village elders. Kaboko is a village elder. Another one is a sick man with legs. I don't know whether the legs are now disabled. Oh, they are walking. Because God, you know, God also knows how to tame some people. A blanket, an electric blanket burning you as if you have no wife, no home, no people to look after you. Where in Africa do you have an electric blanket? If it was in Britain, I would say the blanket, yeah. But in Africa, you don't need an electric blanket. I think all this is a false, fake meeting that we saw. But, well, say it as it is. Ruto was crowned, and the crowning of Ruto makes it a two-horse journey. There is no three horse. I don't see any third horse here. A two-horse journey towards the August elections. I think, I don't know whether I have, that's the way I saw that NDC. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, for shedding light on the optics of the day. One thing that stood out categorically in DP William Ruto's speech is his promise. He's always a man of promise or promises. And he went straight and said that in his first day in office, he will get rid of state capture, the offices like DCI and KRA. What is your take? First of all, what is state capture, and how can DP claim that there is a state capture in some of the institutions?
I think Deputy President William Ruto has no good political advisors. When you talk about state capture, who captured the state? If you looked in the mirror and asked that question, ask the mirror, who captured this state? Who gave Murkomen and Kindiki helicopters to go around parastatals to collect money? You remember the helicopters group that went on getting money from parastatal body managing directors? Do you remember them? And is that who captured the state there? Remember who put spies in President Uhuru Kenyatta's office? The controller of the state house was a spy telling Uhuru, spying from Uhuru to tell Ruto that Uhuru is wearing this shirt with a tie, with this, with that. Another group, you know it, they were chased, 6 of them. And I want to be candid, they were chased out of State House. Is that who were planted there as spies? And that no sooner had they been chased out of State House than they arrived in the Deputy President's house. It's like, Wekesa, you send away your wife, and I welcome your wife, and you are my friend, Wekesa. If you see my wife again driving with me in a car in the town, do you feel happy? This is where we started seeing cracks in the Uhuru-Ruto relationship. Spies, including the spokesman, Manoa, you know, all the people who have been thrown out of that place were working for this guy called Ruto. Ruto has been very, very dangerous in capturing the state. Ruto has divided institutions of security here. He has his own agents who has captured the state. They have a National Intelligence Bureau headed by Itumbi, who has captured the state. When you state capture means the state is muzzled by one person through corruption, giving of tenders, supply of goods. Who was supplying the goods? Can I tell you and your viewers that in the first, in the second, Ruto was well positioned in key institutions, KPLC, Kenya Pipeline, all these financial, agriculture, finance, all these organizations, he stationed his people. Because Uhuru was busy fomenting, creating, making sure that the constitution works. Remember, Uhuru was handed over a constitution that was barely only 3 years to be implemented. And Uhuru, having been a person from a background that just leave things to go that way, Ruto took the advantage, made the money. The second administration, in the first administration, you saw Ichungwa was the chairman of the budget committee. Duale was the chairman, the leader of government business and the leader of majority. If you talk about state capture, Murkomen was the leader of majority in the Senate. Kindiki was the deputy leader of the Senate. Lusaka was the leader. All this, if you are talking about state capture, those are the people who had captured the instruments of state. Ministers who were chosen. Henry Rotich, part of the state capture. Deals come from the ministry. Ichungwa makes budget, extends budget, and increases money in the parliament. They send it to public procurement. And I want your viewers to listen to this, Wekes. Public Procurement Board. Who was the chairman of Public Procurement Board? Paulo Chijeru. The ICC, witness by tamperer, corruption in the ICC, buying witnesses, was Ruto's henchman as the chairman of Public Procurement Board. You remember that? So on the Public Procurement Board, you could see Chijeru telling Ruto what type of tenders. You notice that there were lots of tenders that were awarded. People you could run. Who was awarded the tenders? Show me one tender that was awarded to Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. I will show you 200 tenders that were allocated or awarded to the cronies of His Excellency, the Deputy President. Where is Chijeru? Chijeru is in the ICC. The case is going on. The last 2 witnesses or 3 are about to finish. We shall hear the results. That one is for another discussion when you call me. But capture of a state was captured through corruption scandals, through corruption deals of 10% kickbacks. How many Chinese were crowded in Intercontinental Hotel? I used to stay there, and I used to see Chinese all dressed up in briefcases with Costani, the MP of Soy, taking his PA, taking them across to annex Arambe House. Several groups. You could look at that time, say, hey, I am a Ugandan, I'm not bothered. But now I can see what the state capture means. So when Ruto talks about state capture, he should first of all take himself to committee, and then the state can capture him. But if he's still talking when he's outside, what will he do in state capture? If I were Ruto, I would not mention some words like Google. If you Google, now you have your phone there, Google corruption in Kenya. Who is the most corrupt man in Kenya? What will Google tell you? What will Google tell you? All of you listening to me, Google will tell you, Ruto, you will even throw your phone out. It's not Matsanga. I have no single tender I have ever got in Kenya. And I'm not part of the tender. I don't do business. You can kill me for this noise I make, but not the dubious business of sitting down to get tenders and use my position anywhere of influence. Never. What I have is little got out of my sweat. So state capture was done by Ruto, but not Uhuru Kenyatta, who is the boss of the institutions. When Uhuru Kenyatta in the second administration saw the light and changed all, is when they started hating him. When Uhuru Kenyatta said, let's have self-audit, lifestyle audit, to remove the state capture, is when they turned on him. So you tell me, who is the worst person whom you want to hand over a very good country? The worst person who stands in Kasarani, points fingers at the politics. I've told people that Ruto plays politics of Fanoni funds. Fanoni funds says is violence, use violence, and the violence alone coupled with poverty, you are done. What has he done to people here? He has threatened them. He has, incited them. He has told riders, motorbike riders, border, rise up, beat up people. He has told people that you need wheelbarrows. He has given wheelbarrows as a symbol. He said, Kenya. He has gone to Kenyatta's home yard and said, Kenyatta has eaten all your money. That's the type of money we are dealing with. All your money. He said, Kuria, go and spread that message. The whole of you, the Kikuyus, the money was eaten by Kenyatta. Nobody has gone to his terrible home or Sungoi home to tell people how he used to steal nails for SGR to build the house and the metals. You brought me here to say my mind. Yes.
Yes, I think before you leave that apart, I think he was specifically in Ngara and talking about building. We are going to purchase this land. He was pointing a certain piece of land there. We are going to purchase it and build a 5-story building that will house the hustlers and then make sure that they are able to be empowered economically. He also talked about the border guys should storm the police station and demand for their motorbikes and return of their cash. What do you make of that?
It's a rebellion of George Soros. Last week when I was here on your TV, didn't I tell you that there are 3 prongs? Have you now accepted with me, sir? Anybody who argued him, maybe let me put my ear here to hear when you open up. What did I tell you? Look at your clip. If you think you have studied political science beyond me, talk to me now. I told you there were 3-pronged approach that Ruto and the system are using. 1, George Soros is funding Mudavadi. That's why Mudavadi, when the government knew that they were going to transfer money from Doha, from evangelical churches called them for money. He didn't have the money. And they were aware that they had been intercepted in Doha. They tried to bring in some money. On Saturday, that there was chaos. You saw Malala making noise because some people even cut off themselves from the London. We know what it is. I don't want to endanger my people who are embedded in his office. You know, the chaos that was in this delegation when they reached London was enormous. Mudavadi left first. He didn't want to proceed with anything. These guys have a 3-pronged approach. 1, to have a regime change. 2, Ruto has a second option. 3, the George Soros option. You see the George Soros option, the tactics that they are using. That's exactly what Chamisa is telling people in Zimbabwe. To raise up and go and beat up, break Mnangagwa and throw him out of State House. Very soon Ruto will do that. Very soon when Ruto loses elections, he's going to call upon these people that you see, the dynasties have stolen our goods, our election. Come up, burn this town. That is what he wants to do. It's an approach of regime change, a violent regime change. It's a Stockholm syndrome that he is holding the people of the Rift Valley and the Western Kenya. That many of the Aruyas who are in the Rift Valley will end up perishing. You know they are the people. But Luya people paid a heavy price. And if you follow the post-election violence, do you know that our people paid a lot of price in that region? Because you are aware, most of them, a very heavy price, as if we are forgotten so easily that today we are here running around that Mutukufu Makamu rice. You know, Waluya, I don't know you people. How I was born in that community, but I'm sorry. If there was a way to run away from it, oh, Makamu arise. Did you see Wetangula, a gentleman like this one? That guy there, Wetangula, whom I thought had brains. No wonder he has one Casimiro degree of law. Wetangula has never proceeded to a master's degree. By the way, let him go back to school and then get some other degrees. You know, some of us who had no degree are now having degrees. Some of them, we go on. We are studying online. As I speak now, I'm studying. I'll graduate in September in Southampton University with a degree, a master's degree in strategic management. Another one. Look, we are struggling. You know, when you have a very small, limited space of mind, a thief like a Ruto can come and take you. But if you have a broadened mind, like some of us are not willing, you rather die poor. But I will not join if a situation where you know that this is a man who captured the state, who is now telling people in Ngara that he will buy land. You see, I told you. In fact, Kenyans, if you are not careful, you might find your state house land title sold to Bazungu. If you elect this guy to go to state house, because he wants land. He talks about land grabbing. You know, you can see in Ngara, we shall buy this and build for Hasola. Why don't you say we buy and build for Kenyans? Even Kenyans want houses. Even Matsanga would like a house if he was given free. Unfortunately for me, I don't like one because I've built houses and they have been taken. Some I have recovered, some I'm okay. Where I live. So look, build houses for all Kenyans, not to build the house for hustlers. Is that the money you want?
Yeah, we are also told that we need to elect him because he went to school without shoes. He says Uhuru and Raila have never slept hungry, so they don't understand the suffering.
Can I tell you
what
one
do you
thing?
make of that?
Thank you very much,
Yes.
Wekesa. The politics of compensational politics. When you grow up with the type of heart that I did not have shoes, and you start hating people who have shoes, politics of compensation, you want to compensate. That's why you develop the art of stealing. Kama uko na roho ile, like a hyena, you know, you are eating this meat, but when you see another animal passing, you leave this and run to that one to kill. By the time you come back, this one has been taken by another animal. That politics of compensational politics. That because Uhuru Kenyatta was a son of the first president, I must also compete to reach there. It's dangerous politics. Because I got my shoes from Bata in a man in a rhetoric. What was the name called? Owino? Or what was the name of a Bata shop? It is not Matsanga did not
Onyango.
Onyango. From a Bata shop of Onyango.
Yes.
So what? You have a conversational style. You have a heart that, you know, that admires and envies people. That's not jealousy. That is simple, cheap, village. That a neighbor has bought a shirt which is red, like this one. I have also to buy a shirt similar. You could see it in the first phase of Uhuru Kenyatta 2013. Ruto could even ask Leonapa, the state house controller. You remember him? The ambassador in The Hague. Ruto could ask, how is the boss wearing? Anavaa nini? Na wewe unavaa koti like wekesa now, I go, let me have a break. I also go back and bring a red coat or a brown coat with a tie like wekesa is in the crime. That type of politics is what has killed Africa, which creates chaos, violence, and a crisis and a coups. And the military, we are taught, some of us were taught in the military, don't, if you see your officer, you see your fellow officer, you feel your fellow soldier with something, don't admire. Don't admire, because there is, even the Bible tells you,
okay,
admire.
and
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for that. There was this man called Moses Kuria. He's back in the Hustler Nation, and his welcoming remarks were outrageous. He talked about he mentioned and listed the people who stole the votes for Uhuru Kenyatta. So I haven't even seen or heard the deputy president rebuttal, because when Sabina Cheke just tried to insinuate that there was rigging, the following day he was up on arms against her. But here comes a man sensationally talks about the people who made sure that Uhuru is rigged in. And the owner of the event just kept quiet. What do you make of that?
Moses Kuria, I've told you that Moses Kuria is not a man you can trust. In 2004, when I was a Sky News consultant for Africa, I was a senior Sky News consultant for Africa, the whole continent. I came to Intercontinental Hotel. I used to look after Kuria. Kuria used to be something like a think tank of Kibaki. So he used to come there for me to give him some few dollars, which I had from my organization. And we have lunch, we had a drink. I've known Kuria for a long time, but I've known him. At first, I thought he was an intelligent man. He has got a lot of papers, some from Iran, Egypt, mostly Arab countries. So he's well versed in the politics of confusion. So I did not know that Kuria, and I want to confess on this television, when I came in and Kibaki called me to help, it was President Kibaki who brought me to say, help these people on the ICC case. Because I had known about ICC in Uganda in 2005. Before anybody in Africa knew ICC, we were the first people in this continent to face ICC, because it had given indictments, 5 warrants of arrest to the commanders of the Lord Resistance Army. And therefore the EU, AU, United Nations, all of them said we have to have peace talks. The British government agreed that go for the peace talks. So I knew about ICC. When I came here, I found Kuria. Kuria and another lady whom I cannot mention on this, a lady who is among that group. They had a company called Steamer PLC Wekesa. This company, Steamer PLC, with Wafula, the late Wafula, Ken Wafula, who died mysteriously in Eldoret. They were linked with Steamer KPLC. Steamer KPLC was purchasing witnesses. And that's the group, the company that Moses Kuria used to pay, to use as a conduit to get money from George Soros through the Ministry of Constitutional Affairs. Now you know who was the Minister of Constitutional Affairs. You can guess. She's usually very annoyed. Everything you talk, she's annoyed. She has her lips annoyed. To protect that, Why? That's why she's not coming to Uhuru Kenyatta, because she actually bought witnesses to fix Uhuru Kenyatta. And Moses took part in buying witnesses to fix Uhuru Kenyatta, to fix William Ruto, both of them to go. I'm now telling you this, let the world know. I investigated this. I did not know that I was also being monitored to be put in on trial. There are two people in this country who put me in chaos with Ocampo. Moses Kuria and another professor. They were my friends. They used to talk to me. Kumbe, they were spying for ICC. They went around and said Matsanga was tampering with witness number 4, which I agreed because I found witness number 4 on Facebook. Witness number 4 cannot be, a witness protected by the court cannot be sending messages to Othaya Nyeri that mommy, I am OTP for mommy, I am eating life in Arizona, I am very well and my stomach is small or big. No. I got him. I'm a very intelligent. I studied intelligence to the highest level. Those who underrate me, those of you younger boys who write things and insult me, you will miss me. Because I always tell you the truth. Nobody will talk about it. I followed who was fixing Uhuru Kenyatta, who was fixing Ruto. I know them. They have now. Have you seen how they have now separated themselves from Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta? They have come one by one. No. Let me use Museveni's English. One by one. No. They have said, Hassani Omar, David Indi, Moses Kuria. Look at the group. Have you seen Kiyunjuri? Have you seen the lady herself, Iron Lady from Kirinyaga? Have you seen how they were plotting to finish Gina's son, Jomo Kenyatta, Uhuru Kenyatta? Now they feel ashamed. You tell me what Uhuru did to Moses? Nothing. They are neighbors. They are from one constituency. But they fear to come to face. They have not said we are sorry, but they were quick to say sorry. Moses is quick to say sorry to Ruto for money. And I'm talking Moses, let him come here and bring him here. And ask Moses, when we went to the ICC together, I and the MP for Mugatana, Matsanga, and Moses, they found me in the ICC. I booked them a hotel. Ask Moses. And we said, let's go and greet the deputy president is coming out of the court. Ask Moses, how did Ruto greet you? Ruto had already known it was Moses Kuria who had, and others who had fixed him. You know, a gentleman in Africa, when you greet somebody like this way, they here, how are you? I told Moses, I have done my best. Kenyatta is out. I'm going home. Moses said, Matsanga, you are right. I'll never come back here. We come all the way from Nairobi to support the man, and the man doesn't want to greet us. Now, when we came in the plane, Moses did not tell us that he's the one who fixed Ruto. But I had known, and I kept quiet. Ruto and Uhuru, through that company called Stima PLC, which was buying witnesses to remove Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto under the Ocampo 6. 2 weeks passed. Moses Kuria went to Ruto's office, and you saw the pictures. Very clear, confessed, and said, I paid two shillings to buy witnesses. We are the people who fixed you. You see, the ICC went tough on him. He maintained his ground. He went, you know what he said? I and Martha Karua. Isn't it what he said? We fixed you. Martha Karua took Moses to court. They have just sorted it politically here. They sorted out of court. He paid a lot of money. Up to East African, the matter went so far. Now, that is the time when I knew Moses Kuria is not a reliable man. Up to today, he has never apologized to me. Why he even wanted to kill me? Because this is the man I was moving with. I'm defending the people whom he has fixed. Are you with me? And I hope your viewers are listening to me. I would have been killed. I was drinking.
Yeah, we are following. We are following.
I was drinking coffee, eating food with Moses. He would have killed me. I'm happy. I'm alive. You people, you saw what I went through in 2008, 2009. Nobody wanted me here. 2011, 12, nobody wanted me. And whenever I go to TV, they will say, Allah, this man here. But I stood my ground because I knew ICC was going to destroy this country if I did not intervene. But Moses is not a man whom you can take a word for real.
Okay. So in summary, in your own view, because there are people who in the beginning were saying that Moses is a Trojan horse for Uhuru Kenyatta, that
Where?
he was in Tanga, but not trusted.
I have told you.
Okay,
you can now decide.
So what is your perspective on Moses rejoining Tanga or the Hassler Nation?
Moses belongs there.
What is the agenda? What is the agenda?
Who started? The agenda is fear. Haven't I released you the information that makes Moses fear Kenyatta family? You think they have forgotten? You think they don't know? Why is Martha Karua? If you ask Martha Karua, what did Uhuru do to you? Will Martha Karua answer you? If you ask Kabogo, what did Uhuru do to you? Will they answer you? They are running to a place to cover themselves up. They cannot face this guy. And they say, we are sorry. Do I have anything to tell anybody I'm sorry? I didn't know anybody in Kenya. I didn't know Uhuru Kenyatta. I didn't know Ruto. I didn't know Mudhaura. I didn't know Ali. I didn't know anybody. I came in to help a country, people, until I achieved. Justice will come out. It is that as we finish this case, this matter, I want to tell you, Wekesa, that it is very difficult for a judge to hear you have been mentioned 874 times in a trial, and that judge will be stupid not to call you. So when you tell me about Ruto and your elections, no, you will see. The sentencing of Gicheru case will be in May. So expect fireworks.
Thank you.
Anytime in May. I rest there my
thank
on
you.
that question.
Yeah, thank you. I also want you to delve on this. Do you think that maybe the bringing together many leaders from Mount Kenya, can it create a wave? We have seen even the parading of MCAs and people who had already joined UDA, but they are being shown as if they are defecting. Like we had 25 MCAs from Kirinyaga, paraded as defecting to UDA. Do you think UDA is creating a wave, or is just creating its own PR? Can it create a serious wave that will take away the mountain from Uhuru? Just today we had was it a propaganda or something, that there was a meeting for Mount Kenya leaders and State House on Friday, and then State House said nothing like that. So why do you think all this blackmailing of the State House just to create a notion that the mountain is gone?
I started my interview with you with one word: fake, fakeness. Fake. All is built on sand. And the fake, they fake intelligence. They fake information. Itumbi started by telling us there was a meeting. What they have done is they steal gadgets. They have stolen the gadgets and they use those gadgets. And you have to be careful. You know, Itumbi is a main hacker here. I don't know why they have never picked him up on that. But God picks them up one way or the other. They steal your gadget, your phone, and they use your phone to release information that Wekesa is calling us. It's like people who steal your money on M-Pesa. Don't put it there. It will be gone, brother. You have seen Safaricom arresting fraudulent. There's a fraud department in Safaricom. There are people waiting to steal your money. So this is a team that is a fraudulent team. UDA is fraudulent. I started this interview with the word fake. You have seen, you have reached in the middle of 42 minutes, 46 minutes. You are bringing exactly what I told you. They faked a letter that there was an invitation. People received text messages. Someone hacked a phone, used it to send messages to everybody. They can do it. They can hack your account and say you are in distress. You want 40,000 shillings. Please send it. They take it. That is what happened. And the State House discovered that. They issued a statement. 2, the question that you are asking, whether they will hold in Mount Kenya, it depends. There are 2 reasons that might shock Ruto. 1, the more he continues insulting Uhuru, the more Mount Kenya people are my people, are like the Baganda people of mine. In Buganda, if you go on insulting the king, I tell you, you know it, Wekesa, you have heard a lot. In Buganda, if you insult the king Mutesa or Mutebi, and tell the king has big legs, all this is a drunkard or what, I tell you, if you get their vote, do you know what they can do? On that day, they might not come out to vote. Are you hearing me? So for me, I advise Raila Omolo Odinga as Mio.
You are talking about voter apathy.
Let me make a point here. They might not vote. So this question of a wave, the MPs that you see here might not come back. These guys might not vote. The real politics has not started where people will go on the ground. Also, you know, Ruto is using money, but he doesn't know that the people he's trying have also money. So if we go for money and to money, you will see the vote that will turn up in Mount Kenya. Haven't you seen the speaker standing on the periphery? You think the speaker will betray the Uhuru? You think so? Is the man sealing Ruto's fate in that region? If you think Embu has a wave, you look at the speaker when he comes to declare. where he's going to stand in the weeks to come. So you asked me about Mount Kenya. It is not, it's just a wave of money, collection of handout money for survival. You know, they have now drawn a road map. You know, under Ruto, you know, Ruto is excited because he thinks at his home, nobody is tackling him. And he's excited, he's following this man called Kuria. We shall go from here, from there. Very soon, those rallies will dry up. Another force will come on the ground. Some people will start saying, Allah, kumbe this was this. You don't insult a community, a bigger community, Ashanti, Shona, Ndebele, Zulu, Kikuyu. You go on insulting them. The Igbo. I have studied anthropology. I have studied the patterns of voting, the behavior. You insult the Biafrans. You go and call a Biafran a name. You think he will give you a Fulani a vote. They will stay at home. How many voters were in Nigeria? 84 million. Isn't it Wekesa? How many voters voted in Nigerian past election? 28. Out of 84. Tell me where the 56 went. They sat at home. Biafrans, Bantu. Baganda, Bantu. Look at that. Ndebele, Bantu, they have a behavior. Zulu, Bantu. Have you seen? Shona, Bantu. You have seen the problem you are causing here, and you are insulting their leader. In the political science, you have to be careful. They are not like Nile Hamad or Nilotics or Kushites. No, these are very particular. Once they choose a person, that's why most of the kingdoms, show me in Africa. Show me where the kingdoms were. The kingdoms were mostly in Bantu areas. Am I wrong? Kabarega, Mutesa, Mumia, the man Nabongo, near your place there. Show me where the rest had chiefs running battles. Lenana, chief, the Maasai is not, you can kill him in a battle, no problem. But the Bantu had kingdoms, respected. They respect their people, the very. Chief Buterezi, you touch him, South Africa bans. You insult him, South Africa bans. Mugabe comes from a bigger kingdom. You touch him. Robengura. Look at, I'm giving you examples. I'm teaching here. Wekesa. I'm teaching. Some of the students here who think that we come to this TV to make noise about Ruto. You better take those small notes. The kingdoms were mainly among the biggest tribes. The Ashanti, the Oyo Empire in West Africa, the Biafra, the Igbo. You don't touch Igbo. You don't insult Igbo king. And then you get a vote. Out of the population of 200 million people, the Igbo are 120 million in Nigeria. You don't insult their people and you get a vote. They will not vote you in. So Ruto is making a terrible mistake of insulting the king of the Kikuyu, the man anointed by the elders of Kikuyu, the man that they said he will be our guide, our star. You can change a few people. Some of the people Ruto is changing. On that day, they will be drinking janga. They might not come to vote. Yes. So there could be voter apathy. Technically, there could be a technical voter apathy. And I was telling you the other time on this platform before I finish that elections in Kenya have a problem. Didn't Wafula Chebukati said today that 10,000 polling stations out of 47,000 polling stations have no network. Wala ya Mungu, walala, wala. Didn't I tell you? Matsanga studied political science. You hate me, like me, hate me. I have a subject. This subject is in my blood. So when I'm telling you something, take it. I told you. Have you seen the alarm? Wekesa, you saw the alarm that Chebukati raised today? 10,000.
Yeah, I saw the alarm, and you still haven't answered my question. How did Ruto respond to the alarm of Moses Kuria of rigging?
He was told to say so. Moses Kuria was told to water down what Chebukati is supposed to ask Ruto. They work at night together. And Moses works double way. If you find him at night right now, he's seated with briefing this side. You know, I don't like that type of person. Time has come for people like that who make people die. You know, if you find Moses right now, go and look for him where he is. You'll find him seated with a very close ally of Kenyatta. He has told them what Ruto has been saying. That is, what type of human being is that? They discuss these things so that Moses comes to water it down so that it doesn't become a serious crime for the deputy president. That's why the deputy president has not uttered a word since he came back. He was supposed to be summoned. Chebukati told us he was going to be called. He never called. Why do you call Chege? Sabina Chege. They cause her high blood pressure to go to hospital for what? They have watered it down. Moses Kuria said no. He was saying it tulikuwa sisi tulikuwa tunaiba kura tu. After all, the crime has passed. How will you charge him with what? How will you charge him, sir? And you yourself, you have a server which you have not opened. You said in France it was still sleeping. People were still asleep. You can't bring it here. So 4 years the server is still asleep. So how will you charge him? There you are.
Yeah. Okay. Waje turudi nyuma kidogo. In the event, we saw Musalia Mudavadi and DP William Ruto wearing suits. They were almost matching, except that everybody wore the tie of his party. And one man, Rigathi Gachagua, was not looking happy. Where will this game of number 2 lead Kenya Kwanza to, in your own assessment? Although you say it's not registered. Maybe it will not run its full political length.
Let me tell you, there are 2 things that could happen. You know them? It could be a dead end, that Mudavadi could come out and return to resuscitate Oka. Because he has not signed any agreement with Kenya Kwanza. It is not there. Did you not see that? There are no papers for Kenya Kwanza. Until you see those papers of Kenya Kwanza, what they have been saying is a slogan that was picked. But they don't have papers like Azimio La Umoja has papers which are well documented. So there is that question, there is that lingering. I told you the bond between Mudavadi and Ruto is money of George Soros. They went to America, they were promised Kagoro is back. I told you the other time that pick a phone and I asked Kagoro, did you call Kagoro's number? You know, he came back about a week ago, about 6 days ago from New York. He was there. They finished all this thing of funding them. The money from evangelical churches. I told you Ruto went to America on a restrictive visa. It gives you one way, no two ways, no going to Arizona, but stay in one place. People can come to see you. I told you, it has been proved right. They all went, and when they reached London, things did not work well. Mudavadi came here. Malala, his son, started making noise. That, yeah, this is not the thing that we wanted. We must also be involved. So when they were promised call some little money, they got, which the one that came in through the handlers who had already spread themselves in the various, because the government cannot look for all of them. Some of them came in with some dollars. Friday morning, 5 a.m., the man arrived somewhere here. People were excited. But by Sunday, people, you didn't see them excited. People were not happy. They are sticking on a vice president, a deputy president slot, a running mate. But the UDA had its own arrangement. So you must, unlike Azimio has not got an arrangement that when we give you this, you give us this. Not yet. They have not sat down to say who should be. These are only proposals that are coming out. But in UDA, there was a sure deal. A sure deal. And you saw it about, about Moses Kuria talking about it, saying that we need a share. They even went and sat down and crafted an MOU. You remember in Masai Mara, you remember? They sat. So there was an agreement. It is difficult for Mr. Mudavadi to break this MOU, which they have already with the leaders of Mount Kenya. They want the slot. But when you give the slot to Mount Kenya, guess who is going to lose? Ruto will lose in your place where you come from, Bungoma. And you are not going to vote. People will riot. People will vote. In Bungoma, Raila will sweep that vote. Because people will talk of, we Luya, we say, Rukati, kuno kusani, kuno, kane mpamo. That is all. We are going to say this in Mpamo. Busabure. For those who don't know Mpamo English, it means you are useless. Mpamo, bure. When a Luya starts telling you that Allah, that's it. From a woman, a man, everybody. That's the culture, our culture. We have that pride. So when you tell the Luya that I went there, but I got a shoelaces instead of the shoe, he will not understand. They will not understand what logic you have. When they send you for the shoe, then you come with a shoelace. And then the vote, it's a rich vote hunting situation. We have so many difficulties, and I don't think Mudavadi has got 500 million, 500K. Where can he get it? If he could not even win his own vehicle. I don't think so. Isabel, I don't. Ruto cannot have 1.4 million. I don't know what Isabel means from Western Kenya or the rest. I don't know. I don't think so. The people of Western Kenya, the voting patterns,
if I've understood what she's saying, yes. She's saying that Ruto is starting with 1.5 and Mudavadi 500. maybe for Mudavadi, maybe she's basing on his performance 2013, which still fall short of 500. It was 480.
Yes.
And Ruto maybe is basing on the backyard of Rift Valley, which is still untested. We always assume that he will get that.
I don't think that, but what you have forgotten that Raila also has a base, which can bring like a start with a start of over 4 million. Raila has, see, you know, if you take out anything, if things go like the way they are going in Ukambani, Raila, you saw the last, I told you, you can see the figures. The areas that are strongholds or battleground, Raila has a higher hand in those battlegrounds than Ruto. Garissa, you saw Mandela, you saw Masabit. All the you have seen Tana River, Raila. Raila will get the vote. Ruto will get the anger. We are here on 10th. You will call me again. In fact, I want to be the first man on 10th to tell you I told you. If we go like the way we go, because the opinion poll is real. They have been using it. It has been giving them marks going up until now. We have found that Raila is already ahead. Because if you look, as I told you, the factors in Mount Kenya will affect that some of the voters might not turn up. I am telling you, either identity reporter, oh, see, where did I put the identity? Allah, iko mambo huko. That one, please, let's leave it to God, tuachie Mungu.
Yeah, I've seen you have touched a bit of the opinion poll. I think it is, I saw the analysis of Radio Africa. Raila leading with 47% and Ruto 43%. Just a month ago, he was up. I think so. They say that three factors prompted this. One is the Sakana 3, which was ignored, but according to them, both routes for Raila Odinga. And then the Kalonzo factor and of course, the choice of Raila as new candidate. Do you agree with that?
Yes. Sagana 3. Sagana, now, if you can see Sagana 3 can raise the stakes, let Uhuru remove the shoes, wear the boots, we go. We go. You will see Ruto will start panicking to the extent that he will want to stay permanently in the region. You know, people have not gone yet, but this is only a tester. When Uhuru takes out his shoes and goes to those mountains and start to say, Jamen, I am your son. What have I done to you wrong? The road is here. I've come with this. Tactics that Ruto is using will be over. And you'll see the vote will climb. Raila is known countrywide. Ruto is known for brutality. So, you choose a brute, or you choose a statesman. When you look at Ruto's speech and Raila's speech, which father can you run to? If they're your father in the house, I would rather run to Raila.
Yeah, I think we will be coming to Raila's speech at the Chatham House. Before we go there, David Murathe said that Raila is likely to get 64%. He also said that with or without Mount Kenya votes, Raila shall be president. Can you comment on that?
Exactly, but I've told you that one already. that Murathe is correct because of the factors I've just told you about Mount Kenya. That's exactly the analysis. We are behind the analysis. We are technocrats somewhere on analysis. Even okay, imagine they come out. They might not come out to the extent that some will come out and even vote Raila also. And when they come out to vote, the Ruto will get very little money, very little votes, very few votes. Anybody who says, anybody who said, don't worry about the comments I'm writing, that I like that comment of ICC, don't worry, I like it, return it. Yes. Anasema mzee Raila, ICC fighting for Uhuru, what went wrong? Raila ni mzee aende nyumbani. That is you Kenyans to decide. But on the ICC, I was doing that and I did it very diligently. I don't like ICC up to the end. But what went wrong is Ruto never came to say, asante sana kwangu. He hated me and he put Farouk to harass me. Who's known for brutality, is a well-known man. It's not Uhuru. You know him yourself. Raila is a statesman versus a brute, which is very true. You can see the comments for yourself. Ruto is not a presidential material, a man who talks like he says, Uyu, Makapeli. You are talking of a head of state, Matapeli. That's not African. That's not. That is what has annoyed most of us. And we shall not, some of us who are friends of Uhuru Kenyatta, I did not buy friendship. I never gave Uhuru Kenyatta money to be my friend. Neither did he give me money to be his friend. I came to save Kenya. And I have never gone there to say, Mzee, give me money. The CCTV will show you. I have never been to eat rice there. I don't go. Do you see me on your public holidays? I don't go there. I'm not involved in that. So I am speaking from my mind. I've never bargained for a place in that place after doing all this ICC work. No. But the people who did not like Uhuru are the ones who have actually come down and they enjoy it. But Uhuru is a respectful man from a family that respects law, rule of law. If it had been another president on the African continent, I don't know where Ruto would have been. Surely, the type of words that Ruto uses against the head of state are belittling, very belittling to children that we should respect the head of the state and the presidency. Forget about the president, but the presidency, where you are part of, you're a liar, you're a ghosty worker, and you collect allowances, then turn around to hate the same place where you get allowances. If it was another government, by the time Ruto finished Kasarani, there would be no policeman guarding him at the gate, not even to open the gate. You would have got with those ones who came from Kasarani to open the gate. Yes, Ruto ajue namna hivi, and his people should know that. They are here, they are listening. They should know that the treatment that Ruto does on the president, the way he belittles the president, the president has been so good, so tolerant. Yes. If it was any other person, you would have removed the police, even switched off water. You leave him in that house for his hustlers. Mr. President, time has come. We have 5 months. You cannot be disrupted with your program. Uhuru has to prepare. Uhuru has to prepare for transition. Ruto must give him peace. You cannot talk about peace when Ruto is the one causing insecurity. To threaten the president of the head of state is insecurity. And that's it. So if it had been another president, he would have switched off water in that current house and electricity. resigning from presidency Wekesa does not need a constitution. Does not need constitutionalism. It needs character and conscience. Character and conscience. Character and conscience. Ubuntu, empisa, no Ubuntu. I'm now speaking in my Uganda, I'm sorry. Character and conscience. You see that? Character and conscience is not constitutionalism. When you are serving people, it is not constitutionalism. That's why Britain did not write a constitution. Wekesa, do you know why? Do you know why Britain did not write a constitution? Show me one book of Britain which is written as the British Constitution. Because they have character and a conscience. If a minister in Britain is found, his car is found in the red district, where women who sell other activities, because children are watching the TV also, they are found, a car is found parked there at night, and they take your number in Britain, and it's flashed on the newspaper, you resign the following morning. That's it. That is it. It's character and the conscience, not constitutionalism. Don't stick on the constitution to misbehave. Don't use the constitution to misbehave. Ruto is using the constitution to misbehave. We are looking at the character and the conscience. Where is the conscience of the man who wants to become a president? Number 5. Who refuses to resign? You see? A man who has no external international relations capability. Look, Raila has statesmanship. And I want to tell you one thing. If Matsanga and Ababu Namwamba went in the same plane, let me
okay.
Finish. Let me
finish. I know. Wait. Before you go to Raila, I wanted to give you a commercial break. I play a clip, then you start there.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Positive work that have been done by the government of President Uhuru Kenyatta. I will never say that you are going to inherit the negative things. There are certain negative things that Uhuru himself has actually admitted. He said that, for example, the government loses close to 2 billion shillings daily into corruption. He is, of course, felt very much unable to deal with it. The reason is because he's got a divided government. Is being undermined from within his own government by his deputy, who is basically an opposition inside the government. And therefore, any fight against corruption is politicized. If anybody is investigated by investigative authorities and is arrested or being charged, there's always the cry that, oh, so-and-so is being targeted because he's my supporter. So-and-so is being targeted because he's my supporter. So they cannot really fight against this corruption internally because of internal contradictions within the Jubilee government itself. I do not have that kind of baggage myself. I'm coming in there with clean hands, and people know me. Remember when I was Prime Minister, at the time when I actually suspended 2 ministers, because of investigations which have been carried out and pointed to those ministers. Unfortunately, because of at that time the internal divisions, the government, they were saved by my partner at that time. But you say that nobody will be indispensable in the government. And if you want to really carry out a successful war against corruption, then you just begin yourself. If any member of your family is caught in this, you must ensure that action is taken against them. I give an example of Kagame, whose own brother was arrested and imprisoned, and would go to visit his brother in prison and just tell him, sorry, but this is where you belong. You know, if you take those kind of actions, then people will begin to know that it is not business as usual. It must be business as usual to dealing with this hydra-headed animal called corruption. And there will be a determination to do it.
Does Raila have what it takes to deal with this hydra-headed animal called corruption?
Yes. I concur with the former Prime Minister, right, Honorable Dr. Raila Amolo Odinga, 100% on the question of corruption. You cannot fight corruption. You cannot give example of Singapore. Everybody gives example of Singapore. But I want to tell you that Singapore, I have been to Singapore like 7 times. I've eaten food in that rotating, restaurant where you rotate from Nairobi up to Naivasha, then come back, and you are in the same place, but the thing is moving, rotating on an island. Singapore is just water. It's a place where containers are, small piece of land. But how did that man fight corruption? He changed the law. One of the things in Kenya that has brought Kenya to where we are about corruption is that there is a bad law. The criminal justice system of this country is bad. The criminal justice system of Kenya, you steal money on Friday, you taken to court on Tuesday. On Friday, you are in Mauritius enjoying the money. You are given bail. You are given bail. You are given bail. You are given bail. Look at the people. Look here. Where are the thieves who stole 50 million from a till in Ithaca? Have you heard of them being sentenced? Where are they? Those gentlemen dug a hole and removed 50 million from a till and an ATM machine. Where are they? Bad criminal system. A bad criminal justice system produces bad results in the fight against corruption. That's why Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga brought the 90 points. The 90 points in the BBI would change the scope of what Kenya looks like. Ruto did not want them. He bought people, younger men, lawyers, Harvey, Nelson Harvey. That one, you better bring him. Can he come here and stand my fire? He can't. Bring him on this TV, you'll see. They destroyed BBI. The only thing that was the hope of this country, where you can change the law, that once you are caught on economic crimes, you have taken money, you go down. In Rwanda, you don't steal money and you are given bail until 6 months. When the file is ready, charges are ready, you are going to be charged and sentenced. They will give you bail. You come back for your sentencing. Raila has given you an example of Kagame's brother. Kagame locked his own brother and I went there to visit him, like any other visitor. And I brought some food from mommy. And when he got out, he said, now have you learned a lesson? Yes, I give you, go and find a job and put application. If you go through, you work as normal. If you need anything as a brother, I'll get part of my salary and I give you. So if we don't act like the Prime Minister of Singapore, who locked his own brother like a Kagame, and then got the children, educated them, his own brother was put for life without parole. Yeah? The guy locked his friends, all of them. It's like a Raida. It's like a Raida becoming, locking up Oburu. It's like a Uru locking up Mhoho. They all go to jail and throw the keys. You see? That is what we should do if you are to fight corruption. Corruption is not only in Kenya, it's in Uganda. Actually, the one of Uganda is more centralized. The one in Kenya is spread. And because I can see someone saying, go and help Uganda, they are suffering from changing power. I helped Uganda a long time ago. Wekesa, can you tell your viewers that Matsanga was the first rebel in the bush? The criminal justice system of Uganda, Museveni even follows you in the court and says, don't give him bail if you have touched the money. That's for sure. You can insult Museveni to have no democracy. Yes, the deficit for democracy is there, but there is nobody you touch money in Uganda and you walk free. That is a lie. Wekesa, tell them, because you are very near there. You can insult Museveni. There's a deficit of democracy. Do you have, okay, you talk about democracy. Which African country understands democracy? Where is it? Where is it? What is democracy? Kathy, you think democracy is election, going to elect. Some of us think that elections are democracy. No! We have not yet grasped democracy yet. Uganda is part of the countries where democracy is not practiced at all. But when it comes to touching their money, the money of Uganda, and you have eaten money, Museveni has locked people. They are in there, his friends. Some of them are there. They're in jail. Tell me where Waruke is. Isn't Waruke in the campaign rally? Yes, tell me. He was the highest.
Yeah, he was supposed to do 67 years. What happened?
What happened? But in Uganda, I can tell you, even the vice chairman of the Uganda National Resistance Movement, Captain Mukura, was sentenced for 2 years, for actually 4 years in jail for embezzling money. Mukura has just come out of that place.
Yeah, Daktari, I think you need to address this because I've seen most politicians are using this script to water down the war on corruption. They say that everybody is corrupt, nobody is clean. So nobody can even purport to say that he can fight corruption. Can you debunk that narrative?
Corruption has several angles. There is silent corruption, there is middle corruption, and high-headed, the one that Raila has talked about. If you tap the water of Thames, sorry, I was thinking I was in London, of Earth River Water Company. I was talking about Thames, but I'm not in Thames River. I am in Nairobi. If you tap the water of Earth River Water Company, and you bring a pipe and put and tie it with rubber, and it comes to your house, you have committed corruption. You get the point? You are now doing corruption because you are now making somebody who is paying to pay more or to pay less or to pay for nothing. That's corruption.
Sisi huku tunatumia kitu inaitwa sambasa. Hata stima tuko na sambasa.
Okay. If you get a wire, you sambaza power without you paying directly to KPLC. You have committed a corrupt act, a crime which is punishable. It might those are normal. They are not normal. They are in a society. It is very wrong. If you are driving on your road and you hit a dog intentionally in Britain, and you don't stop to carry that dog to the nearest veterinary doctor, you have committed a very heinous crime. How many people knock dogs here in the Webuye Road? Webuye Matang, that area when the car is really hitting nice, a dog passes. Will you stop? How many people who are watching me can stop for a cat to pass? Have we reached that state? Have we reached a state where we feel for others? We haven't. You see a cat passing, it sits there, you see you swallowing food, then you get a stick, a big stick, and beat it. In Britain, it is difficult. The person will go inside the house and throw the food, and they tell the cat to go away. If it's a neighbor's cat, say, go home, it will listen. But here, we beat every animal that crosses the road. After that, we go. We have practiced bad manners. Until we learn Ubuntu, Hutu, to value our friends, to understand whether you have salt or not, to understand why your children are not going to school. We keep on making corruption. Now, the highest type of corruption which is visible is these suitcase, briefcase guys with the sharp suits, like the one of Oscar Sudi and others, dressed up as if they are going somewhere. Yes. If you commit a crime in Kemusa, like taking the drugs, I haven't seen anybody named officially from the DCI list. So, Kafi, if I see anybody, then I can have, I denounce that. I denounce that. And I think, Wekesa, you saw me denouncing it. If there is anybody who took medicine, drugs meant for COVID, he should go and be got and go and serve sentence. Corruption, demolition of people's structures comes through corruption. Well, first of all, how did those structures come about? Someone corrupted someone to sell someone that struck land. People here are living on 4 land titles. Wekesa 1, Wekesa 2, Wekesa 3, Wekesa 4. If you go and look for the owner of the house, I think he died in 1925. But someone has manipulated a land title. That's corruption. How does it come? It comes because it is amongst us. But the worst type of corruption is this 10%. You know that the contract will cost 200 million. You go and tell them 400 million, 200. Before you sign, bring me that in cash. That's what Ruto used to do. Bring it in cash. That's why you cannot find. It's very difficult now to find Ruto, but you can find the general manager. The managing director of that company are the ones who have suffered. If you find them, most of them, go I want you, go and look at that gentleman who was in NHIF. The only organization that was saved by Atwoli is NHIF and NSS, National Security Fund. Ruto wanted to take that money. Why Ruto hates Atwoli is that money. It's not because I've heard Atwoli say it, but it's true. Because General Karanji was hated. General Karanji was the chairman and was hated by Ruto. Because General Karanji said, no way. No way. Ruto did not like him. Can you go to your, if you talk about corruption, which Raila has talked about, until you look a man who bought a judge, a Range Rover, white Range Rover at Milimani Court. And when we took the photographs of that white Range Rover, the lady removed it the following day. The man had 8 houses, and they used to fly by helicopter to go to Sokimayo. You remember that house girl? Is it house boy? Office messenger. You remember him? Where is that case? Now, can you blame Uhuru? Uhuru arrested a man, put the man in court. You have a bad criminal justice system. Until you correct that, you cannot fight corruption. I submit.
Thank you. So, where will this case of, I hear the file of Waikuru has been sent to the DPP. Where will this case leave her in the issue, in the runners up to 2022, August election?
Whether this case or not this case, anybody who has been mentioned about corruption with Wamutata's application, if the judges agree, they might not be on the ballot. Yes. And that's why I'm telling you some of these elections of Kenya, if some candidates start missing on the ballot, we have to go back on drawing board to print new ballot papers. Because nomination must be by 26th of when? Of next month, is it? Yes. So by May, we might have a shock. You wait for the ruling of the ICC. The ICC ruling will come around May 10th, 12th, around there. So for those in Uda, the waiting is very, you need strong hearts. Because your candidate could be a candidate somewhere else. I'm not just telling a lie. If the case of Mr. Paulo Gicheru finds him guilty, the chances of Dr. William Ruto being on the ballot in Kenya are -1 million. Because
yeah, in the law of are you done with that? We move to the next.
I have just said my statement and I quote it for me.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So I wanted to say,
I've not said that, people here misunderstand. I've not said. The good thing is Mutembei does not change a word. The good thing I've said, Wekesa, is if Paulo Gicheru is found guilty, I want Ruto's people to know this, that Ruto did not commit a crime, a state against ICC. He committed a crime. If Gicheru is found out that he bribed the witnesses, he committed a crime against the court of an institution of Mlimani Court. Therefore, the judge in the Mlimani Court, the judge in the ICC will want to see this Ruto, who has been mentioned 874 times.
Thank you for
That's it. And get your
Okay,
notes
thank you.
and get your notes and say Matsanga. That's what I have said. Because there is these lawyers in Kenya, none of them can beat me on international law and the ICC law. I know about institutions. If Gicheru is found guilty of having bribed witnesses, the judge, presiding judge, and the court will want to see the man who was mentioned advancedly for 874 times as the mastermind who paid the money. So prepare another candidate if there is. If you see those results, then you go back to the drawing board of another NDC. That means your ballot papers would have not been printed, or would have been printed, because as soon as the nominations are done, ballot papers are printed, isn't it? That's final, isn't it, Wekesa? So we might need to adjust ballot papers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. I hope people have understood. I also wanted you to weigh in for the man who has lost his Senate majority leadership. This is Wamatangi. I don't know, but in my own view is that I don't think the movement from Jubilee to UDA helped him, because he is going to a place which is crowded. He arrived in Thika with Moses Kuria, same seat, Jungle, and Kaboko, all running for governorship. Did he have boosted his chances if he remained in Jubilee? Because they were only competing two guys, either him or the current governor. What is your take?
First of all, Wamatangi is my friend. I knew Wamatangi a long time ago. Even when I was going to ICC, there's one day in Intercontinental where I lacked a ticket to go and defend Ruto on Rule 68. I got my logbook of one of my cars. Noah, the new Noahs that had come, I bought one cash. I took my logbook and I gave it to Wamatangi. He gave me 600,000 shillings to hold my logbook. Then I can go use it for a ticket. Wamatangi is listening and I will say yes. They held my logbook. They gave me the money. I bought a ticket. Ruto did not want me to be part of it. When we reached The Hague, I became the key star who saved him on Rule 68. Now, Wamatangi was a very good man. But Wamatangi has been influenced by domestic problems. He's married to Ruto's cousin from Tarubo, Dr. Dorothy Kipchumba Karori. You know, they are married. So, please, you can see where the alleges, not Wamatangi's wife is not the first wife, they are not together, they separated, but the person whom I know is Wamatangi is married to is that person. And that person, believe me or not, is Wamatangi's nightmare in the house. If you have a lady who is telling you, you can't leave my brother and go and support your own brother. So you go to where the goods are. The man is not there fully because he loves Uhuru Kenyatta. He found himself either the wife, the new home, the new wife, or out. They are brothers. Go and check. Dr. Engineer Dorothy is the wife. She was in Kitale, where Kesa, you know, the the one in Kitale, in Haemba's department. You come from Kitale or around there. She was the chief, one of the chief engineer for Trans Nzoia. She's the one who married to my friend Wamatangi. I have to tell the truth. So if you have that type and you come home, she said, what are you doing now? Where? Eh? Are you now you are supposed Wamatangi was caught in that circus. So he finally, you saw he could not come, he could come, he could not come, he could come. Finally, he said, let him go because bwana chakula utakula wapi. So sympathize with Wamatangi. But he's
thank you. As I bring in, my fellow panelists also to ask a few questions maybe which I've left out. I also want you to comment on the media blackout in Kasarani. After that, Alex, you can have the floor to ask a few questions. Thank you.
First of all, the media blackout as a member of the Fourth Estate. I am a member of the Commonwealth Journalists Association, a senior member. I go to 10 Downing Street. I enter like a rat enters and comes out. Nobody has ever stopped me from going to 10 Downing Street. I've been a journalist. I'm a member of the Soul. Look, I worked for Sky News. I went for interview. I floored 10,000 applicants for this post of African consultant. Because everything they brought, I ticked. Very clever boy. I won every evening. They said, oh, I had won. The Muzungu said, you've got it. The guy got it. So I am a member. In fact, I'm sorry, my wallet is behind. I should have shown you my card as a member of Commonwealth Journalists Association, senior member in London. Prime ministers know me by name. They said, Dr. Matsanga, yes. Blair was with me. We were campaigning together. Robin Cook, the late Brown, Gordon Brown, Johnny Major. I have rubbed shoulders with these guys on Zimbabwe. They hated me because I liked Mugabe. And I have no regrets for having liked him. Mugabe, you have gone down first, prepare a place for me there. I liked you. Because you left something for Zimbabweans, land to hold on. Not South Africa Mandela who left tears and the books. You know? You see? So, when you black out the media, you've caused a very big suspicion. What was it that they were talking about? They were planning against Wetangula, the others. Because remember, they had not come in yet. So that it also causes suspicion. 2, it shows what type of government you are going to have in the future. I don't know why you have not asked about the behavior of Farouk, the hunger man. Farouk is called Farouk Hunger Man, Farouk Kibete Hunger Man. He's the man who hangs everybody around there. And I think it is very soon that Itumbi will be hanged. So if you are looking for people who broke Itumbi's legs, don't go very far. It could be Mr. Hungerman. Me, that is one of the reasons why I fear Ruto's office, and Ruto is that Hungerman there. It's not a joke. So for me, when you talk about the media, it is the media was locked out. It is very sad for the media fraternity in Kenya. And people like Francis Gachuri, who are also ADA, who are also UDA, they are well known. They didn't complain about this. If it was Raila who locked them out, they would have made noise that Raila has locked them out. Raila is not democratic. But have you seen any newspaper complaining? No editor. Because Ruto has bought all editors in these stations. In fact, your station is becoming more popular because it brings out to people who speak their mind out. But if you speak your mind out like a Matsanga, you can't be on KTN or some, all the editors, even the National Broadcasting Corporation, KBC, Mr. President, because the President is going to hear this tape. Mr. President, it has a man there called the Day, an editor. That's you hear. They block everybody there. When they hear that you are coming to speak in favor of Uhuru Kenyatta, they will not allow you. Mimi nasema ukweli. You want me to hide? Uhuru Kenyatta has no broadcasting, even his own broadcasting station, K24. The editors there bring the people who even favor Ruto more than. You see? It's a sad story. Ruto has influenced. What PLO Lumumba said about Ruto yesterday is like he's worse than Hitler. You know, he's created a theory of a class struggle, put it on people who are already traumatized. He has caused a problem, chaos, a conflict in Kenya. Tuambiane ukweli. And that conflict is, Matsanga might not be here. When you come to see me, if I'm not here, thank my children, Wekesa. But this is not election. This is a preparation for a wider conflict. There are so many things that worry me. Thank you.
Alex, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Daktari. We've been listening from behind and trying to find out a few things. First of all, I think you are always very candid in a few things, and some of them we wonder if they are true or not. But you know, there's one specific issue here that I want you to elaborate on. When you say Stima PLC, a company that is called, it's named for purposely for energy ABCD. How did it come to a point that Stima PLC and that was co-owned by Kuria, Wafula, and the other lady? How did that company become a conduit through which money was put so that these witnesses could be bought? How did that even happen?
Alex, thank you very much. You must be the only visitor in Jerusalem. And do you agree you are the only stranger in Jerusalem who did not know this? But let me fill you in. Stima PLC is not a PL. Don't think of the KPLC. I hope you are separating the two. This is a private company, a private NGO, a PR company that was created under the Ministry of Constitutionalism, Cohesion, National Cohesion, and Constitutionalism. Who was the minister? Who was the minister?
Martha Karua.
So now, let's go. Why did Martha Karua take Moses Kuria to court?
That's why I want you to elaborate
now
on that.
Okay, Martha Karua took Moses Kuria to court because Moses Kuria said, you and I, we bought witnesses through a company called Stima PLC. You remember that? The court papers are there. So now you can see I talk the truth. I'm also an investigator. I later on found out that the same company called Stima PLC was receiving money from Open Society Foundation.
By George Soros.
Of George Soros, who was the chairman of Open, who was the MD of Open Society Foundation? Tom Mushindi.
Oh, the editor, former editor for Standard and Nation. Okay.
You got it. Did you hear him being mentioned as one of the witnesses? Something you heard. Did
Yeah.
you see? Now, am I wrong?
The
money was channeled to Steamer Plaza, where Kuria, it worked as a conduit, where people who wanted to buy witnesses for work envelope to fix these guys were being solicited. Remember, George Soros had a mission, Open Society Foundation, by Kegoro. You remember Kegoro, Mushindi, John Jomue, you remember them? Gladwell Otieno, you remember them?
Yes.
And the big man who is now the spokesman of Azimio.
Now, Dr. Matsanga, now from that backdrop,
Yes.
and having known that everything was choreographed, now what gave you what gave you the confidence now to go to ICC, knowing that even witness tampering had happened, and whatever that was going to happen in KICC, it was supposed to be justice for a people who had been victims of something that obviously was choreographed by these people now that we are speaking about. What gives you the confidence to go to ICC to exonerate them, knowing that they are working also to mess the witnesses?
Okay, for me, do you know the witnesses that were bought at that time were witnesses to fix these people? Two wrongs don't make one right. Is it? Have you understood properly? The witnesses I'm going to, which I made me to spring to go to ICC, were witnesses bought to fix Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. I am not saying people did not die. People died. But the manner in which ICC accepted wrong evidence is what made me to go to court. And I was right. I'm vindicated now. Don't you see even people buying witnesses today? Are they not being charged? Are the witnesses standing today? They were still wrong. They were
conscious clear.
Yes, go ahead.
Is your conscience clear when you see that having tried to help a country come out from ICC, these still people are warmongering, and we are at a verge of, as you said earlier, these people want to disrupt the peace that we have by all necessary means. I heard you here say that William Ruto is willing to disrupt the peace for him even to become a president. Are you not conscious that you made this happen? Because the whole process of ICC is not justice. It is a political statement to politicians that you cannot do this. Are you not now guilty of what we are going through the political process of Kenya?
No, I'm not guilty. I'm even very 1 million times innocent. Boss, Alex, I was trying to say, Chief Prosecutor, there are people in criminal law, international criminal law, sir. They don't arrest the people who shoot on the streets of Berlin or Italy. You remember the Red Brigade? An organization called the Red Brigade. My brother Alex. The Red Brigade mafia. The mafia operation, they take the Godfather. That was my issue, because I had seen ICC in Uganda was taking sides. When I came to Kenya, I had information, I had a background that they are not very good people. So I found the same mistake in Kenya, that instead of investigations, they came to pick reports of NGO, namely reports of Wafula, Kenny Wafula, reports of several other Harundubi, John Jomue, Kegorov, and Murkomen. You remember Murkomen was witness OTP. I don't want to tell you the number here because they can arrest me for divulging the numbers of witness. Murkomen, Senator Murkomen was a witness. Governor Sang was a witness. OTP. The two were witnesses against William Ruto. They wrote statements against William Ruto. Have you ever seen, since I've been talking about it, any of them has taken me to court? Because they don't want to bring that Pandora box. So when I saw that jumbling of people saying, we must fix them, we must fix them, then I said, where is the justice going to come from? Initially, when I came into Kenya, I came in to say, these guys are going to spoil. The Ukampo has spoiled our country, Uganda, already. In Uganda, my brother Alex, he charged black people, but the Luos, Wakina Raila. Raila, and if you are Luo and you are black in Uganda, and you are in northern Uganda, ICC took you. But if you are Matsanga of the south, like me, brown and very relaxed, and that speak the same language, where they drink tea nicely, we are left out. You think in Uganda, it was only one side that was fighting? Have you seen?
Dr. Matsanga, the thing is that let us focus on the content and the context.
Yes.
Pre-2007,
yes,
the Pentagon is campaigning.
Yes.
And the PNU is campaigning.
Yes.
What you remember is that the fight is against the present regime.
Yes.
When election is announced, we realize that a war breaks out in Rift Valley, predominantly in Rift Valley. In the event of that, the security system in Kenya is not able to help our people. Then from Eldoret, it comes to Nakuru. Nakuru, it gets verge in Naivasha. That is when Uhuru goes to Cesars and asks Michuki and the rest, what are you going to do? They are not capable of helping Kenya. They are helpless. Mungiki comes in. You remember that is what happened. And that is how Uhuru comes in. Now, the question is, when you go to ICC to exonerate William Samoei Ruto, is there not conscious that it was a pre-planned thing, even though you are saying that they were going to mess up our country? But is there not a truth here that it was a pre-planned, whether elections was to be stolen or not? It looks like it was pre-planned.
Okay. If it was planned, there could be evidence for the cases to proceed. But for me, Alex, I went to ICC because I hate ICC. I want to tell you frankly, I did not think about what you are thinking. I hated ICC. And Alex, I want to tell you today, my brother, look at my eyes. Again, anywhere ICC goes, I am against it.
I understand your position. No. And you have a right to have the position.
I have answered your question that why you go to exonerate Ruto? Because I hate ICC. I do not like to know. I just didn't like ICC. I'm a Pan-African. I don't believe in an African shift. I want you to stand a trial in Kenya, but not to be shipped. That's why I went to Sudan. You saw me. You have heard that I was defending Bashir, isn't it? Is Bashir my relative? Is Bashir? When I told Bashir that you are saying you are giving the French man a contract to change Khartoum in his palace, I told him that Bashir, the French are the people who pay for 80% of ICC. You are going to be overthrown. It took only 4 months. By the time they called me, it was too late. I have not only gone in Kenya. Remember, ICC started in Uganda, sir. I was the first person to be taken by ICC with Chisano and Riak. We are locked up in the building and until UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon came to rescue us. Because they said, if you have come here, you have seen Konyi, you must bring Konyi before we release you. And our passports were in the building, we couldn't go. The Secretary General of UN had to make a telephone call to the presiding judge to release, to say, hey, that's international negotiating team. Justice, the German man, the German judge who has died of late, who became my friend later on, had locked us.
Okay,
So,
hold that thought there. Hold that thought there.
I did not go to ICC to please Ruto.
Hold that thought there.
Yes.
We had an odious process. I remember the last day when the Prime Minister stood up in Parliament. He persuaded the Kenyan Parliament and told them, we cannot go to ICC. Let us have a local tribunal. If the worst comes to the worst, let us acknowledge the one that is in Arusha so that we can use it as a stepping stone because we are a signatory to Rome Statute. We have only two ways. Either we go to Hague or we form our tribunal.
Yes.
And they said, let us not be vague. Let us go to the Hague.
Yes.
What options did we have at that particular time to bring sanity and a sense of justice? And I use the word sense of justice because I know ICC is a political court, is not a justice court. Yes. That is a fact. That is a fact. But what options did we have at that point? Given the fact that people had already been killed. And Mutahi Kagwe, who was the Minister for Information then, had a gang order. So people did not truly know the happenings and the killings. But you people had the privilege of knowing, and you're privy up to now how many people died and how they died. But the fact is that people died and something had to be done. They refused the local tribunal. Why would they not go to Hague?
Okay. First of all, I want to tell you that I was a Ugandan who did not like ICC. Point number two, in 2007, I was a journalist working with Sky News. We came to cover the elections of Kenya, sir. How did I get to know more about ICC and the killings? Is through the footage that I have up to today, sir. Not in this house, but in my London house. I have the footage. I found that church smoking. The smoke was in. The smell was there. We went by helicopter. My Bazungu went by helicopter to Eldoret because there was not enough space. I turned from Wilson, I came back to Intercontinental. The two cameraman and Stuart Ramsey, they went. We came here we had come to interview the president of Kenya before elections. And they accredited us. I've kept all this material with accreditation card and everything. And we are sucked in something that we witnessed firsthand. The killings, the people. We flew by, my journalists flew by helicopter to witness some of the things were happening. So when we came back, I was not privy to government secrets. I don't know. Those questions you're asking, you should be asking actually Martha Karua. Because Martha Karua was the person who was in charge of the constitutional and the law, Attorney General and the cohesion. The cohesion and Mr. Wako. I was not privy. And the DPP by then was Mr. Tobacco. So the rest of those, what Kenya should have done, which other countries did, was to create what we call a special division of the High Court. That's the question you are asking. What could we have done? We could have created a special division of the High Court. But when they wanted to create a special division of the High Court, Mr. Maraga, I hope you are not a relative because you look like a Maraga. Mr. Maraga, Mr. Maraga, who was a judge in Nakuru, released all the 60,000 suspects. You remember? You remember all of them who were released without a case to answer. Who released them? The former Chief Justice, when he was a judge in Nakuru. Where would you get the evidence? All the people were released. Does it shock you that Maraga and Ruto are friends? You didn't know. When Maraga got that,
that one is not true, Matsanga.
Okay, just hold on.
Okay.
You are in the US, I am in Kenya. When Maraga got the accident, sir, where was he going? Because I have evidence of where he was going. I have evidence, sir. I don't want to say much here. When he got an accident that Saturday, he told us he doesn't work on Saturday, isn't it? But he was going to meet who? Without bodyguards. So Kenya lost a chance to bring the perpetrators of these heinous crimes through a special division of the High Court. When Mutunga took over power, David Ndii, who is the man of George Soros, you know that very well, was the PA of Mutunga. The English you saw coming very rough on Daily Nation, Wamakesi, Makoha Wamakesi, was part of the court working against anybody. And that is why I said there is unfairness in this. Ocampo came to investigate. He did not investigate. The victims are not going to get justice. My going to court to file application was to expose the injustice that was in the systems of ICC. It failed. It did not investigate. You cannot take cases which have no death certificate. I don't know whether you're a lawyer. There are three things on earth: birth certificate, marriage certificate, and another one is called death certificate. Those are the three things that identify a human being, Mr. Alex. Either people look for your birth certificate or your death certificate.
Mr. Matsanga, we are still going to focus on the issue of ICC. Now, we see Gicheru is in ICC, and the witness tampering already was done. What is the singular purpose of
Gicheru's witness tampering? Mr. Alex, I want you to get it right.
Okay.
Gicheru's witness tampering is different from the witness tampering that Moses Kuria told people that he paid 2K to buy witnesses to fix Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto.
Well, and I agree to that. Now,
so those witnesses, that is a state against, the case was a state against William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta. Gicheru's case is ICC court, the court against Gicheru for tampering with regulations, procedure of Article 70.
In other words, it's a perjury case.
Baba, you have hit the point.
Now,
is it perjury, perversion of justice, perjury, perversion of justice, obstruction of justice, tampering with witnesses. You cannot win that case. However flimsy the evidence is.
And I've tried to watch the case carefully without being political. I'm apolitical when it comes to that because I still believe in the sovereignty and the sanctity of Kenya. But I'm looking to a point whereby we will get into a conundrum and the deputy president might be called over there. Do you think the state...
Are you listening to my statement, boss? You are, maybe you had gone to buy some milk. But
well, I was, but I want us, because when you said those things, in the middle, you kept, like you were holding one point, you explain one, I mean, the dots were not connecting. Now, I want us to keep the flow.
Can I connect the dots for you?
Yeah, connect the dots now.
He will be called. Okay.
Go ahead. You have the time. Connect the dot for us.
He will be called. There are 874 times Mukubwa. Yes, the boss, yes, some of the witnesses in closed sessions, they have said Ruto. Some of the videos, sir, show Mr. Ruto pulling out money. You get my point? I am told that's the evidence there. So East or West Alex, Mr. Paul Gicheru will be found guilty. If he's found guilty, and the case says yes, he committed perjury, he obstructed, he bribed, he tampered with our evidence, he will be sentenced to 5 years or 250,000 pounds. Euros, or both. And if he's sentenced, therefore, the court, no judge would be stupid to sentence Mr. Gicheru alone. He would like to see what is this Mr. Boss, the network boss, who used to give Gicheru money. Because at a certain stage, the case, if they prove that Gicheru had no money of his own, then they must find out where the money was doing what? Coming from. And where was that money coming from? It was coming from Ruto. If it is Ruto, they will take Ruto. If it was Matsanga, they come for you. They will want to know. You give your statement, clear your name. So yes, at a certain stage in this process towards the great day of 9th of August, the year of our Lord 2020, Mr. Alex from United States of America, there will be warrants.
Is that the main reason we are seeing now all these people who we believe were part of the larger scheme are conglomerating together in Kenya Kuisha? Is that the reason, or yes, there are other more reasons?
That is the reason. They are trying. Asami Oma, you have forgotten. Muthama, what did Muthama say in Parliament? What do you remember what he said in Parliament?
Remind our viewers.
Muthama said, "Let's not waste time." What did Harwale say? What did Harwale say? Muthama said, he said, "Don't waste. If they have refused to be here, waende. These are criminals." Harwale actually said they are criminals.
What can we do to avoid the ICC issue? Because after we left ICC last time, the president told us never again will another Kenyan go to ICC. Then Gicheru takes himself. Did he surprise the president? Did he surprise the government?
Why do you ask the president? The president is not Gicheru's keeper. Gicheru is his own and his wife and his corrupt money which he was getting from the public procurement board. Remember, Gicheru was an office of government, isn't it? He was the chairman of the public procurement board, which was giving tenders to Ruto. He woke up in the morning, he took the laptop with the phone. And how do you go with a panga that has been used to murder someone at the police station? He went with the phone and with the laptop and said, I've come, I'm here.
What was his purpose of doing that?
I don't know. I've never seen, I don't know how he looks like. I see him on TV. But his purpose was to say, I have come to clear my name.
Was it a guilt conscience that he couldn't live with?
Yeah, how do you know when you are on a warrant, don't you look when you go to the toilet, you have to open another door on the other side. So he wanted to clear his name.
Let us come now to Ken Wafula. You know, Ken Wafula is also another sad.
By the way, he's dead. So how do we talk about him?
I know, but it's a sad, because Ken Wafula was a human right respected person from my perspective, and having you named him that he was part of the witness tampering, it's good to clear his name, because I felt that you did name him and say he was part of the larger choreographed, detailed and group that their main purpose was to make sure that the witness were tampered with. You even named Omar Hassan. Now, but Ken was a sad case. How did Ken get himself there, given the fact that he was one of the most vocal human rights? Why did he change sides from the human rights to the perpetrators of the law?
Have you ever heard of the word procurement? Procure. Do you know who initiated that word? Is Matsanga. And ask Wekesa, I will tell you, in Kenya, they nicknamed me Mr. Procurement, or Jeff Koinange. These guys, yeah, Wekesa is there, he can tell you. These guys created an academy of wit. You know, Wafula, if you play the tapes, he's gone. May God rest his soul in peace. But if you play the tapes, Wafula said, I had to help to coach you, to keep witnesses, to give them food, because they had nobody to look after them. These were witnesses selected by Moses Kuria and the working report and the ICC. So Wafula had an access to the witnesses. They created academy. It is me who said they created an academy of witnesses where they procured, and they nicknamed me Mr. Procured, because that's the way we speak our English in Uganda. So Wafula sincerely took part, and if you can play the clips of Jeff Koinange and Wafula and Matsanga, it is on there. You can find out that Wafula himself said, yes, he was part of the group. And later on, Wafula, from after about 1 year, we woke up in the morning. I was in London, I think. Yes, I was in London. I heard he just went to hospital for short illness and he passed on, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that is, I don't know. I don't know much. Beyond that, I have records.
So when you look back, when the ICC case now started, and we knew that now some people have to go to ICC. Ocampo came, they met with Mutula Kilonzo, and they had some chats. And remember, the few things that we saw on the media was him going to Mutula Kilonzo's farm where he had all these animals. But behind, there was some things that were going on. Now, one side decided who to give, one side decided who to give. Why, of all people, was Uhuru Kenyatta the sacrificial lamb? Why?
Boss, now the questions you are asking me are very difficult for me, because one, I'm a foreigner. Two, I came here, I didn't know what the game was. I learned later on when Kuria came out to say he was buying witnesses, when they started accusing each other And the Kuria went to Ruto to say he was buying witnesses. Now, how they fixed each other stems back to Work Envelope, who was given the mandate to investigate. And instead of handing over the envelope to Kibaki, he handed over the envelope to Kofi Annan. When I tried to get the Work Envelope, Wekesa can tell you, the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya came to court to oppose me. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
They opposed me. And they didn't want that envelope of 20 names to come out. So my case, I lost 6 million shillings. And that is out of the case. And they told me so many things. That is the end of it. If you want to stop the ICC train in Kenya, quit article under Article 127, exit. You can leave ICC and remain independent. If someone wants to come to Kenya in the future to arrest you, Alex, must go through the Security Council. That's the only safeguard. Otherwise,
and I think that is what we must do if you are a true Pan-Africanism who believes that we should have institutions that measure our democracy in a manner that we are, not through the Western optical lenses. I think that is that's what we must do. But what is preventing the current crops of leaders not to do that? Because they know the effect of going to foreign courts. Why have our legislatures not done that?
Now, you're asking me very technical questions, which I have already put up my ground. I have told the governments in Africa to quit ICC. There's only one government that has accepted me, and that's the government of Burundi. I worked with the late Nkurunziza. He accepted me in Bujumbura. When he heard my story, he called the Minister of Justice. He said, have you heard this story of this man from Uganda? Mm-hmm. I want you on Monday to write a letter to the ICC to tell them we have withdrawn from ICC under Article 127. May his soul rest in peace, Nkurunziza. The rest of these guys here, they don't listen. And I'm telling you, Alex, ICC will keep on coming. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing. No.
Come back.
Let's move out of ICC.
Look, whether it is Azimio government or whichever, which I believe is Azimio government, coming in power by 10th, I'm very confident. Because my heart has not worried much. You know, some of us have got Masava, the Elgon mountain here. Yeah?
Okay, now, Daktari, let's move from the ICC now. Let's come to the Deputy President now trip, which you opined that he had.
Alex, I have answered some of those things because I need some time also to sleep.
Okay.
To prepare, but just ask one or two questions on that.
Sure.
Apart from, because I've done that extensively with.
Exactly, we saw that, but there were a few things we wanted to ask.
Yes.
The trip to the US for the deputy.
Alex.
Yeah.
Alex, you will be asking us we finalize.
Yes.
Because the other debate has already started. Yeah.
Sure. So the trip to for the deputy to the US was disastrous, and at some point we had even Duale had to just go back home, and as you have opined, also in UK also they had some mishaps. Where do they go from now? Are they just a loose coalition, or they are coming together for the hatred of just Uhuru, but they have no agenda for Kenya?
You have hit the point. Hatred of Uhuru and the money collectors, tax collectors around the world. They're looking for money. They don't have the money. In the US, they got evangelical money. You know that very well. The bishops gave the money in dollars. Some people started coming with it nicely back home. So they are money collectors, evangelicals have given them the money, the hatred for Uhuru, combined with that, that is exactly what happened.
So thank you so much, Dr. Matsanga. It's always nice to have you. You always give us new perspectives. And I think we should continue having these kinds of debate, because then our viewers keep knowing more than what we read. As you have said, the news and the newspapers and the directors have always been captured. So they are not capable of giving us information that some of them we need to make an informed decision. So I think we will stop here. Thank you. Ulale salama, and I wish ningekuwa size yako ungenipea one of your 2,000 shirts. I will be very happy.
Or I can send some, you can adjust.
I can add, sure, I can have 2 of them in one. Thank you so much, Wekesa.
And these are special shirts. You can see Wekesa, tell him, isn't this the color the president was wearing, the same shirt? Yeah, so I don't want to tell you the secret behind our shirts, but they are very special. But I don't mind. If I knew, I would look for Wekesa and I will put in DHL or FedEx. It can reach you in the States. Are you in the States? Yeah, it can reach you in Minnesota.
I will shoot you my address.
Honestly, give to Wekesa. The shirts are here. Just a minute. Just a minute. Let my person, excuse me, come. Just a minute.
So kwenu shati mnaita aje? Unajua ladies wanaita commerce, na hii shati mnaita aje?
Wacha daktari atuambie, tunavaa vitu hatujui zinaitwa aje. Yeah? Wekesa, you look sharp.
Boss.
Eh?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, I'm discussing with the international people.
Have you seen the shirts? Have you seen the shirts now?
Yes,
wow.
Sir.
Have you seen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great.
So Wekesa, thank you. I think we'll go to the other debate.
Thank you very much. I will look at, I hope not today. I have not had too many hits. I am ready to be hit, but that's the life, what it is.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I think you can give your parting shots.
Thank you very much.
Kenyans, because we are still in the season of campaign. Talk to Kenyans and convince them. You watched Kasarani, you have watched Baba, what he's doing. So convince them why they need to make the right choice.
Thank you very much, viewers across the world, and especially in Kenya. I am convinced that it is only and only unit of purpose under the Azimio la Umoja that can bring about a united, cohesive Kenya. A Kenya without unity or purpose will be a Kenya which will create problems for the entire East African region. Therefore, as you go to vote, vote peacefully, campaign peacefully, but remember to make a choice of free. The best choice is Azimio, headed by the Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. If you know a man who can keep you for centuries, a man who can direct you in these market waters, is Raila Amolo Odinga. And Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has said so. So who am I not to follow him? Thank you.
Now, dear viewers, we are coming to the end, and we have had our guest. He's here to help us analyze situations that we may not analyze it. Sometimes because we have taken political sides, we may ignore fundamental issues that we need to look into even as we make our choices towards which person should lead us in the next 5 years. But you see, there are people who are here, their aim is to shout Raila Tosha, ama Ruto Tosha, without giving considerations to the debates that are going on. It's not lost on us that just a few years ago, we were talking about Kumera Kumera. And the guys who are telling us Kumera Kumera are the ones who got tired of the same king they were proclaiming Kumera Kumera, and they told us Amalize Aende. So it's very important to give your informed, your mind a second thought. Listen to people. After all, you will vote. After all, you will just take like 5 or 10 seconds to vote. But before you do that important choice, you have to listen and listen to people, interrogate their perspective, and see whether they make sense. Don't just say that you decided to vote for Raila Odinga 2017 or you decided to vote for Ruto 2017. Therefore, whatever happens, you are going to ignore it. No. It's very important to listen. It's very important to participate in discussions like this. Remember, in the olden days, we were being told about civic education, but nowadays it's the media platforms like this that are doing civic education. Just as the good book says that iron sharpens another one, so does man learn from each other. I see there are people who have natural hatred. They will say this one is a Ugandan, this is a Kenyan. But there's no boundaries. We cannot zone. Zone knowledge. We cannot zone information. That's why we can discuss with people who are in US and we can discuss with people who are in UK just using the same platform. That means information. The world has become a global village. It doesn't matter where you come from. Democracy has the same spelling. It has the same definition. So let's listen to each other and make an informed choice. Otherwise, have a good night. We will keep it here, continuing to bring guests who will help us analyze issues as we continue towards August 9th. There is another debate going on, the general one, so you can log in and have your say. Good night. Thank you. Thank you for our guest for coming. We are always humbled to have you on this platform.
Thank you very much.
Until next time, God bless you all.
Thanks. Asante.